Welcome to this explainer. Today we're looking at something absolutely fascinating, the complete evolution of high-end travel. If you take a close look at the top-tier resorts in Sri Lanka right now, there's a really striking pattern that emerges. These are destinations commanding serious premium price points, yet they aren't relying on massive gold chandeliers or over-the-top artificial extravagance to justify that cost. No way. Instead, they are completely redefining what luxury means by seamlessly blending intentional, breathtaking architectural design with raw, unfiltered nature. It's honestly a masterclass in how to build an unforgettable experience. So, let's explore how golden beaches, misty mountains, and ancient jungles are literally becoming the ultimate five-star amenities.
Okay, let's dive into this. Luxury without excess, serenity without isolation. This quote perfectly captures the monumental philosophical shift we're seeing in modern premium travel, especially in places down by the Sri Lankan coast, like Tenggale. Think about what this actually means. Luxury without excess. Today's discerning traveler isn't looking for bloated opulence anymore. They want balance. They expect the highest level of comfort, sure, but they want it to feel authentic and grounded. And serenity without isolation? Well, that means while you're relaxing in this deeply peaceful environment, you're still profoundly connected to the local landscape, the culture, the wildlife. Every single moment is thoughtfully designed for pure relaxation, without ever cutting you off from the incredible world you traveled so far to see.
And this creates a brilliant paradox, really, one that sits right at the very heart of the Sri Lankan eco-luxury experience. On one side of the coin, you have incredibly refined comfort. Picture this: plush king-size beds, highly attentive butler service, deep soaking tubs, and your own private infinity pool. But, and here's the kicker, step just 1 foot off your private terrace and you are instantly met with completely untamed nature. We're talking roaming leopards right near the property, the thundering sound of crashing coastal waves, or just gazing out into dense, ancient jungles. The ultimate luxury today is the seamless bridge between these two extremes. You're entirely comfortable, yet totally unhindered from the raw, wild environment around you.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it completely reframes the value proposition of these resorts. When you book a stay at these premium locations, you aren't just paying for a beautiful room with high thread count sheets. You're paying for exclusive, truly transformative outdoor experiences. The resorts curate your access to the environment. They organize guided leopard safaris through Yala National Park, extraordinary coastal excursions for whale watching, and these incredibly scenic walks through misty, world-famous Ceylon tea plantations. You get this effortless access to ancient UNESCO World Heritage sites and lush, protected wetlands for bird watching. The room itself? It's really just your launch pad into these curated adventures.
To really understand how this works in practice, we're going to structure our journey today through 3 distinct environments that perfectly define Sri Lankan eco-luxury. First, we'll hit the immersive jungle safari retreats. Then, we'll head up into the highlands to explore heritage and wellness. And finally, we'll wrap up with the exclusive coastal sanctuaries.
All right, starting with Section 1, Immersive Jungle Safari Retreats, where raw wilderness meets elegant design. We're kicking things off on the wild southern edge of Sri Lanka, right near the famous Yala National Park, where the dense jungle literally meets the golden sands. Look at how the architecture physically achieves this immersion. Removing that barrier between the guest and the wild is a massive part of what justifies the premium price tag. For example, you've got these cocoon-shaped luxury tents featuring elegant copper details, but they're literally shaped to blend right into the coastal sand dunes and jungle. Then, if you look at minimalist retreats near Dambulla, they use vast, floor-to-ceiling glass, effectively turning the jungle and nearby reservoirs into your living wallpaper. Even the beautifully designed huts with thatched roofs and rich wood textures are deliberately chosen to blur the line between the earthy outdoors and the elegant indoors. The architecture doesn't fight the environment, it frames it.
This bold, eco-conscious philosophy is exactly what makes these lodges so exceptional. When you have open-air bathrooms, deep outdoor plunge pools, and free-form swimming pools cleverly inspired by the ancient natural rock formations surrounding them, you're inviting the wild indoors. The thrill of wildlife is literally just beyond your doorstep. You might hear rustling trees or distant waves right from your bed. They maintain this incredibly high-end, luxurious comfort, but they let nature take the absolute lead.
Moving on to Section 2, Highlands, Heritage, and Wellness. Mist, mindfulness, and colonial charm. Let's shift the energy entirely, move away from the crashing waves and dense safaris, and head up into the misty hills of the tea country.
An absolutely crucial concept here is the eco-dwelling.
These are accommodations built completely harmoniously over existing natural landscapes. Think marshes, paddy fields, and forest floors, rather than just bulldozing the land to pour a traditional concrete foundation. A prime example of this is Jetwing Veljujana near ancient Sigiriya. The interiors use warm, natural wooden textures and earthy tones, with private decks that hover right over the water. It's an incredible feat of blending sustainability, luxury, and ancient landscapes into one cohesive, grounding stay where birdsong and morning mist completely define your vibe.
Let's ground this in a tangible narrative for a second. Imagine a day of holistic wellness here. You start with a misty morning nature walk, or maybe a gentle cycle through the countryside and rolling tea plantations. By the afternoon, you're experiencing personalized Ayurvedic spa rituals or detox therapies perfectly designed to restore balance. And you end your day simply relaxing in an uncluttered, minimalist chalet. This curated pacing, supported by attentive but totally unobtrusive service, creates a deeply transformative stay. It's literally the exact opposite of a crowded, busy tourist trap.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core philosophy of places like Santani Wellness near Kandy. They practice luxury through simplicity. By using architectural restraint, clean lines, floor-to-ceiling glass, airy and uncluttered spaces, they remove visual distractions. They don't need heavy, expensive art on the walls because the panoramic valley views and jungle-covered mountains literally are the art. This kind of simplicity actively encourages deep reflection, rest, and a rare sense of retreat from our hyper-connected modern world.
Finally, Section 3. Exclusive coastal sanctuaries, ocean panoramas, and isolated serenity. Let's transition over to the dramatic southern clefts, the crescent-shaped beaches, and the wide-open horizons of spots like Weligama, Tangele, and Hambantota.
Even out here on the coast, the focus on authentic, local experiences remains incredibly strong. These resorts aren't just offering your standard Western massages, they deeply integrate ancient Ayurvedic traditions. These are deeply restorative wellness rituals utilized in bespoke spa treatments to balance your body and mind. When you pair these authentic, historical therapies with local cooking classes featuring fresh seafood and sunrise yoga by the sea, the resorts offer a highly valuable, holistic experience that feels distinctly rooted in Sri Lankan culture.
And the architecture on the coast is equally intentional. Take Cape Weligama, for instance. It's designed to mirror a traditional Sri Lankan village with warm wood accents, but then it's elevated with these stunning private infinity pools overlooking the ocean. Or consider the sheer scale of Shangri-La Hambantota, where expansive windows welcome natural sea air right into these huge, spacious suites. Then you have Amanuela in Tongale, featuring sleek, minimalist suites with private terraces and neutral tones that completely defer to the uninterrupted views of coconut palms and gentle waves. It's all about effortless exclusivity.
Which brings us to this beautiful summary of the coastal experience, a place where every view feels like a postcard. Whether it's the iconic crescent-shaped infinity pools, the sweeping ocean vistas, or just the quiet luxury of sitting on a private terrace at sunset, these coastal resorts have truly mastered the art of beautifully framed isolation. They offer a deeply peaceful finale to your journey, a place where time simply slows down.
So the crucial point we arrive at today is this. In an increasingly crowded, loud, and hyper-connected world, is immersive nature the ultimate luxury? Well, based on the thoughtful design, the premium amenities, and the jaw-dropping experiences offered by these top-tier Sri Lankan resorts, the answer seems to be a resounding yes. True luxury is no longer defined by what is artificially built for you, but by the unhindered, beautifully curated access you're given to the natural world around you. Definitely something to think about the next time you're planning an escape. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope it gave you a fresh perspective on the incredible intersection of design and nature. Catch you next time.